The longevity gene that we study, we think it's really important for human longevity too, is part of the circadian clock. And when you mess that up, either through lack of sleep, jet lag, or just aging, which diminishes the clock's ability to form high peaks and low peaks, then it impacts your longevity, probably because it's affecting your ability to fight disease through longevity defenses. But it seems to be a positive feedback problem, which is that if you don't get enough sleep, you screw up your aging, and then you age, and aging screws up your sleep. And by the time you're elderly, you're not sleeping well, and you're under this accelerated aging program. Interestingly, that I talk a lot about NAD, which is part of my research, controls this SIRT1 defense system. And the levels go down as you age, but they also go up and down during the day. As you're waking up, you start to make more NAD. And if you disrupt that NAD level, you disrupt your sleep. And so that's why I tell people, if they're going to boost their NAD levels, do it coincident with the clock as it's rising. Hit it then, which is in the morning. Because I know from experience that if you take it late at night, you're going to bump up your body, make it think that it's the morning, and you'll have trouble sleeping. I find, and this is just anecdotal, I find it's very good raising NAD levels when you get to a destination in a different time zone, which makes sense, right? That you're able to control the body's clock and reset it.
What if it's 10 p.m. at night?
Where in my destination? Yeah, then I'll fast until the next morning and then take a hit of NAD booster in the morning.
God.
And then I feel great. I don't have jet lag anymore.
You've managed to fix that problem?
Yeah, for myself, for sure.
There's been some research into melatonin recently, hasn't there, around longevity, or at least I keep on seeing it popping up here and there. Have you looked into that at all?
Oh, well, I read the literature. It's hard to keep up with all of it, but I don't think I've seen anything amazing about melatonin in years. And when you start to see a big gap in discoveries in science, you start to wonder, is it really reproducible or not? But if there's something new, I'll definitely send it my way and I'll report about it in public. But I find that some people get stressed out about not sleeping, which makes things worse. So you have to be careful not to worry too much. What I did was I have one of these Oura rings, which tells when I've had a bad night's sleep. And that's not so much to tell me that I need to take it easy. I mean, I can tell, everyone knows when they feel crappy, but it's more about reflecting on what happened the night before and what might have caused it. Maybe a big meal, too much alcohol, that kind of stuff. I think that the future is that we will know way more about our bodies than we know about our cars. Right now, it's the opposite. I mean, who would drive without a dashboard? But how many of us have tracked our bodies over the last 10 years like I have? And what's coming in the very near future, and I already am in this future, it's just, I'm one of on the front row seat. You'll have a ring, you have a watch, but more importantly, your doctor will give you a patch to stick here, either just before the visit, maybe a week before, or if you've just left hospital. And then eventually, you wouldn't leave home without one because you'll need it. These devices are, instead of going for an annual checkup, they'll measure you 1,000 times a second. And they're real, they exist. I've got one just in my bag. I usually wear it. You push a button, it syncs with your phone. Your doctor can see the results. And they'll tell you if you get sick, if you're going to have a heart attack in the future, next week. They monitor your breathing, your temperature, your heart. And it's in the US, FDA approved. So these are true medical devices, not toys like these things. We already live in that world. We shouldn't be scared of it. We're talking about gaining an extra 10, probably 20 years for some of us with this technology. You have to take technology for what it is. And already our medical records are digitized and can be stolen, but they're not. So there are really robust mechanisms in place and laws right now about health data security, and we'll strengthen them. But right now, I'm not concerned. I think the benefits far outweigh the risk, and I haven't seen anybody's genome get hacked or stolen yet. I am building a company that will tell you your biological age and ostensibly how to slow down the process and reverse it with all the latest technology. Well, sure. The field of aging, in terms of the science behind it, is similar to the 1980s and 90s for cancer research. Before that, there was very, very little you could do about cancer. You could cut it out, but that was it. But now we have very targeted medicines, and nobody would say when you got cancer, well, that's just life, that's just natural, go home and pack your things, you're going to die. Why do we say that about aging? We have the technologies now that are showing you can even reverse, not just slow down, but reverse human age. We can now measure it very accurately with even a mouth swab test that I'm developing. And then we're showing, actually, my colleagues and I, that certainly in mice and dogs, we've done some work on horses and even some human studies. Aging isn't that hard to slow down. We already know the easy things to slow down aging. It's just a matter of doing them. And we can talk about those. You've probably heard of many of them. But there are more advanced things that we're working on, that understanding the genetic basis of aging, and even medicines that some are available, some are just coming online. So in the future, people will look back at today, with pity that we didn't even realize that there was something we could do about it. Yeah, well, the ancients knew this, we just forgot it, or we became lazy. If there's one thing I could say that would very likely give you more years of healthy life, and it's important, these are healthy years, where you look and feel younger, you're not just living longer as an old person. That thing would be to eat less often. And there's been some wonderful studies showing that, mostly in animals, but some human studies as well, that it's not as important what you eat, it's when you eat. And so I've skipped breakfast for most of my life. I now skip lunch most days and have a regular dinner. And that, I believe, it's the biggest bang for the buck in terms of healthy longevity. I eat once a day, and usually it's a healthy dinner if I can help it. But I'm only human. I think everybody needs to enjoy life, so I have the occasional cheesecake kind of thing, but not often. I go for about 18 hours. I try not to eat late as well because I don't sleep well.
So you have one meal a day, 7 days a week?
Right.
Okay.
And if I have lunch, maybe it's some nuts or a little salad, but nothing heavy. There's no one size fits all for what I'm saying today or what I do. So some people need breakfast. They are hungry in the morning. You and I are not. But I think if you can skip either the beginning meal or the end of the day meal, the dinner, that would give you, combined with sleep, this 16 to 18 hours that we think is going to be very beneficial. Oh, sure. I mean, every meal I look at scientifically. I'm just saying I don't always stick to eating leafy greens for dinner. I'm not a rabbit, but my diet does tend to look more like a rabbit's than a lion's. And there's a study that just came out a few days ago by Steve Horvath's lab over in UCLA. He was one of the co-authors, that showed that when you do that test of biological age that I was talking about, the mouth swab that we're developing, those kind of diets which are rich in plants, legumes, nuts, low fat, low sugar, they do actually, those people have slower aging. Right, so I've looked into this, and these diet sodas are nowhere near as bad as actual sugar.
Well, that's good to know.
High fructose corn syrup, you just want to avoid that. And certainly in America, it's in a lot of foods.
I know.
But diet sodas aren't perfect. They trick the body and the microbiome into responding as though you're actually eating sugar. But I really don't believe, based on what I've read, that they are that bad. If you want to put a number on it just to be more informative, they might be 10 to 20% as bad as real sugar. And if you need a sugar fix, absolutely need one, it's a much better choice than actual sugar. But the best choice are some of these natural sweeteners, stevia-based sweeteners, are what I try to eat. But one candy, one cake's not going to kill you. That's the point. But try to be good as much as you can every day. And over a lifetime, or certainly the latter half of life, it will make a huge difference.